Hello everybody, my name is Frank Göller. I'm from Volkswagen Group, Germany, working for Volkswagen Group in the function for digital production. That means I'm responsible for the overall coordination and steering of the digital transformation in production and logistics. And today I have the pleasure to explain you a bit more in detail what we are doing to transform our processes all around the world with all our brands and our factories. Please, the next page. Short introduction to Volkswagen. I think company is pretty known. So we have 12 brands. We have over 124 factories all around the world. Looking on the map here, you can see how they are distributed. Last year was a quite successful year with over 250 billion euros in revenues. We sold around 11 million cars and created an operating result of 17 billion euros. This year, unfortunately, we know Corona is hitting us all very hard, so the numbers will be different, but let's hope that we all can recover. But now to the topic, digital transformation. I have brought 7 topics to you. I want to talk about a bit the vision, how we translate the vision into our ecosystem, how we govern it, so what is the organization behind that, some key learnings behind those activities in our journey. We started it 2 years ago. Then I want to tell you a bit about our design principle for the platform and also how we do the plant rollout and the scaling concept behind that. And finally, I want to explain you a bit more how we want to engage and invite external partners also to join in our transformational effort. This next page, please. So, you know, digital transformation has several disruptive topics in front of it. It's the autonomous driving, the electrification, smart and diverse mobility, and also the connectivity and IoT topics will hit us in each industry. And for this challenges, we have defined a staircase, what we want to go through to really create and shape our transformation journey. And here you see the steps, beginning with the connectivity of the real world into the IT world, then creating information out of the interfaces, learning out of that information, what is happening in the past, and then coming to the Champions League, so to say, using artificial intelligence with predictive systems. And finally, a future dream is then to have really autonomous systems. So this is the whole thinking behind that, and this brings us to a vision. And this vision is that we come together with strong industrial partners like Amazon Web Services and Siemens, and we want to create an open community for the automotive industry and also for the manufacturing industry beyond current IT architectures, based on a cloud architecture to enable all the processes and value chain activities to act in a digital production and digital logistics. The idea behind that is, please go to the next page. The idea behind that is that we have a two-folded system, and waiting for the next page. Thank you. And as a first step, we are starting internally within our value creation activities that we set up a so-called digital production platform. The basic idea of the digital production platform is that we want to combine and connect the data of all machinery in our network to really create new standards, how to run the machines and how to learn from the existing data of the machines. This will create a new infrastructure within the Volkswagen world based on AWS technology and basics and standards elements, combined with Volkswagen customized elements and topics. And this is the core idea, that we improve this new architecture, our cost performance in our factories by something like 30% until 2025. And we say if we have created this kind of system to really work in a new way with our data and with our processes, why shouldn't we also give other industry partners the chance to work together with the same infrastructure in their own processes? So that means we have an internal view and an external view to really have a cooperation with external partners as well to make this really a big cloud activity to learn from each other and to create a new industry standard along the value creation chain in manufacturing. And having this idea, we said we have also to think about our architecture within the Volkswagen world. And you know, Volkswagen is a company 100 years old in some locations. And this is also the topic how our IT structure has grown. We have in the older factories monolithic and very old and I want to say complex systems. This means that some of our main systems are over 2 or sometimes 3 decades old, and the maintenance activities and the complexity in those systems is really high. And we have decided together with our partner AWS that this has to be brought into a new architecture where we think about a layered architecture. And this layered architecture is simplified to say in 3 levels defined. The first level is the connectivity level, where we link all our physical processes beginning from the inbound up to the outbound process to a common platform based on AWS standards, but also based on Volkswagen customized standards. And this is, so to say, the backbone, the spine of our architecture with standardized interfaces into a microservice world. That means having this middle layer created, we then invite our factories, our brands to define and to develop own use cases with a standardized interface to improve, for example, efficiency activities in paint shop or quality assurance prediction in the assembly, and then to share those activities and those use cases across all brands. So that's the core idea, and we are pretty sure and have also experienced that this is really delivering new synergies and new levers to improve our performance in quality and cost. If we go to the next page, you will see that the core idea is really to create a strong platform idea with AWS and with Volkswagen. Here in this picture, you do not see Siemens, but Siemens also plays a very important role because Siemens is our strong expert and partner for the connectivity part, because they know all the details, how to connect the machinery, how to connect the processes to the spine of our platform. And based on that spine, as I said, we will create several use cases along the value creation chain we can then offer to our brands and later in the industrial cloud also to external partners. I can give you one example for these use cases. If we jump to the next page, it's a very new case based on the technology of industrial computer vision. That's a very hot topic, so to say. This is a new technology to work with camera systems and to improve quality or also precision processes within the production. In this case here, we have a process of labeling. This process was created with Porsche in Germany. The current situation was that an assembly person has to check manually over 1,300 labels in the car. So it's not in one car, but across the different countries. And they had to check are the labels on the right position? Is the right content on the label? Is the right language on the label? And this costs a lot of time. And here we created a simple computer vision application on a mobile device. You only take a photo of the label, and the light artificial intelligence in the background is checking all the content and all the languages and gives immediately, so to call in real time, a signal if this label is positioned right to this car or not right, and then the whole checking process is a lot of quicker and preciser, because failures are not made if other data are correct behind in the application. This sounds very simple, but the tricky thing behind that is the architecture. If we jump to the next page, you will see that there are several details in the programming and software. I don't want to bother you with these details, but for us the very important thing is that we can use a lot of standardized elements out of the AWS toolbox. This means we are creating individual customized solution based on existing standardized Lego blocks or building blocks, so to say, from AWS, and a bit later, if we are further in the development, also from our own programmed elements. And this makes it so simple to really create new use cases and to create new solutions for our processes in the factories. So that's the main idea, having as much standardized elements to be combined as possible. I have mentioned it that we have a strong partnership between Volkswagen, Siemens and AWS, and here we are really gaining from each positive effects, aspects and knowledge from these partners. As I said before, Siemens is a very strong partner in connecting machinery and bringing the machine data to the cloud. AWS has a huge library of standard elements. I think at the moment it's something like 240 elements we can use and leverage to create our backbone of the architecture. And Volkswagen is bringing all the manufacturing expertise and also the customization practice and expertise to create the real manufacturing cases. Because it's not only creating a new architecture in the IT, but it's also to make us as a partnership stronger for future manufacturing corporations. And if we jump one page further, you also see then the innovation across this process that I said. It's not only the technology we are thinking about, it's also the people and the processes, especially if we talk about AWS. We have a very close cooperation. We have created a new office together in Berlin as a first step to really learn from each other how to work together, and also to adapt from AWS the new working standards. And you see here on the right side some of our, I want to say, new thinking, what we have brought together, like standardized data layers we are creating. We have common interfaces defined and also new microservices to be scaled across our IT landscape. This is something that is really helping us to create this new IT architecture, as mentioned before. What are the first achievements? A kind of snapshot you can see here from April this year. As I mentioned in the beginning, Corona crisis hit us also very hard in this program, but we managed to continue the rollout and the activities. So last year we have rolled out a DPP platform in 3 factories in Europe. This year we had a plan for 15 factories for further rollouts, and the good story is that we managed to onboard these 15 factories across Europe, and also some in US. That means we also have a plan in place to connect all 124 factories. End of 2021, there's a plan then to have 45 factories in the network of the DPP, and we have also created a first set of initial applications. This set is has 15 cases now in the offering. That means 15 cases are developed and are in rollout to the factories as well. These are the cases like the labeling you have seen, but also bigger cases like welding spot quality prediction, or some failure identification in the final quality check of the assembly line. That is not a very huge step, but there are more than 100 cases in a waiting position we want to develop within the next 2 to 3 years, that we can really fill the DPP with these applications for all our factories. In total, we have 220 people working on this program at the moment. And as I mentioned it before, our overall target is to increase our performance in production by 30%. There's also a saving number. You see it here. It's something like 200 million euro we want to save until 2025. And this is where the first slice we are focusing. And we are sure that there is much more on saving potential behind all these activities. That is something like a short status point after the implementation until now. How do we run that whole program? I have mentioned it, that we also learn a lot from AWS, and we have learned that we create several independent teams. If you go to the next page, only to see that we have use case teams and use case communities where we bundle expertise. For example, we have a use case community for energy management, for example, the computer vision activities, or also automotive specific topic for the road test predictor, where we want to try to reduce the necessity of road tests. And these communities are growing, and we are working with a AWS specific approach. They call it pizza teams. So these teams are not bigger than 10 people. They are cross-functional set and typically co-located in one office and working closely together. And they also have a kind of sprint mentality, you know, the sprint logic to define weekly targets or bi-weekly targets to create progress and then to measure against the created activities. So that's a very helpful topic, because our AWS is also a teacher for us here. Some learning topics we also have extracted until now, because the journey is now 2 years old, and we know the next 5 years we have to go for. But it's always important to think about the key learnings year by year. And I want to share some key learnings with you here. And the very important thing, and you know that, is that we need a very strong CIO support. So if we don't have the board on our side, if they don't help communicating and help creating the budgets for this activity, the whole thing will fail. That means stakeholder work and stakeholder cooperation is very, very important. Then it's extremely important to really understand what is the use for the production and logistic guys. We cannot sit down in our offices and think about fancy cases, but we have really to talk to our production and logistic colleagues and really to understand what is really driving their need and what is really necessary for them to improve their processes. We have a use case proof of concept procedure defined. That means we are very quick in creating minimal viable products. You know this word, so that means not planning too much, not creating too much paper, but really starting as quick as possible with a real pilot, with a real minimal viable product, and try to make it work to see if this is delivering the impact we are planning for. And also, as I mentioned it before, the cross-functional work with the teams, with the IT, with the production, with the logistics is very important. And also we have integrated very, very early our workers council, but because very often we are working closely within the workplaces of our colleagues in the lines and production. The empowerment to make your own decisions, not to wait until a board member is giving the decision, so have very short and agile decision routines is important to create quick use cases and quick applications. And finally, we have always to measure our progress and to identify critical processes or critical topics so that we can escalate very quick and that we can make also quick decisions here. That is a key learning, or that are the key learnings after 2 years of our journey. And maybe the third point is that we also do very often this kind of lesson learns workshop to really reflect and understand what we can improve. That brings me now to some ideas or some thoughts behind the platform thinking. And very simple, and I mentioned it before, it's not the spine I have talked about. It's not the standard element AWS is offering us, or it's not the connectivity Siemens is creating together with us. That's the enabler that we can work with our process. The main important thing is that we really create use cases and enable our organization to develop their own use cases and to make them scalable. Because the platform without the use cases will not help us anymore or any further. And therefore, we have to think always creating the technology, the platform, but also enabling the organization to create use cases. What does this mean? I will try to explain a bit more in detail. And sorry for this detailed page, but as I said, we have this layered approach. And here it's important to understand what is the plant infrastructure, what is the existing machinery and the existing plant IT, and then we have to link that together to our platform, what we have created with the standards. So do we apply advanced analytics? Do we apply the cloud structures? Do we have a security concept for the data and the data rights? Because we work across the world, in Europe, in Americas, and in Asia. And that is something we have to clarify with our partners, and we have to give them very clear roles. And if we jump to the next page, and I will not go through all the details, but I only want to explain that this main structure is really important to think through it, beginning with the OT IT gateway up to the edge gateway, and then into the DPP application and the landing zone in each factory we are creating. If you don't know the word landing zone, that is very important for us, because this is, so to say, the platform in each factory where the factory can then customize and adapt the individual cases in each factory. So that means we have also created a quick starter kit that enables the factories to really create their own landing zone with our help. And that is the first rollout activity we are driving, so that there's really the individual or customized technology in the factory to allow them to work with the DPP in their own manner with their own cases. As I said, that's the basic structure we have created there. And now coming slowly to the end, the plant rollout is very important for us, because, as I have mentioned it, we have 124 factories, bigger factories, smaller factories, and we really want to onboard them all and have a good scaling model behind that. And here we have asked us 3 questions we can see on the next page. The thing is, how do we create or set up the overarching operating model to really invite all the individual plants? As I said, we have plants 100 years old and we have plants some 10 years old, and that is different. Then also we have to ensure that the transformation from the old structure, from the old enterprise into the new platform is assured. And finally, the factories will ask for benefits, because at the end they have to pay the cloud consumption, they have to pay the portion of the application development, and the plants will only use the DPP and the applications if there are benefits. And we are talking about benefits not within 5 years, but in 2 years. So we also have we want to create a very short amortization time. Behind that planning and discussion, we create for sure rollout plans, and this is only an example how this could look like. And you see this, that's an example for 1 year. And it's really not to a long distance race to onboard one plant. So it's something like 1 quarter or 2 quarters within a year to really create the onboarding process in the factory. And then we can quarter by quarter establish the use cases in the factories. And the good thing is that this is driven in the beginning centrally by the group and then AWS, but after 1 or 2 use cases, the IT teams and the onboarding teams in the factories, they have learned how to onboard the factories, how to the application, and they have learned how to roll it out, how to make the connectivity broader in the factory. And we are keen to see that after 6 to 9 months, the factories are really able to continue their own race. And at end of this year or beginning of next year, we are also able to offer a kind of marketplace like an app store, and then factories can also make a first check which applications are available in this app store or marketplace, and then they can also download them and try to establish those cases on their own in the factory. Another important element, if we jump to the next page, is that we train from the beginning with the people, that we make an enablement. I have mentioned the quick starter kit. That is a very standardized kit on the technology side, how to work with the AWS elements and also with the Siemens connectivity elements. And we also have to be sure and to assure that the technical enablement in the architecture is working. So we are creating more or less new IT architecture with new logics of interaction and interfaces. And this must be also anchored in our IT departments in the factories, and therefore training and enablement is a quite important topic. And last but not least, we have the starter packages defined, and here you see 6 elements we have really thought through to help the factories in the best manner, so that we really have role-specific trainings in place. We also have a kind of sandboxed accounts for experimentation, so that they can do tryouts and have a kind of risk-free testing trail. We have also connectivity blueprints that we can quick connect the machines and the processes. Very first tools for quick data analysis is available. So it's not specifically customized, but it's like Tableau, like other topics we can then use to do very first data analysis in the factories. Very important thing is for the plants, as I mentioned it before, the cost transparency, that they really see which costs are coming up on my factory. And also, as I mentioned it, we will have a shared access to the DPP services and use cases in a kind of marketplace. This is not yet established. As I said, this is a plan to work on that, but we are keen that next year will be we will have several of those topics and really fully available. And now, last but not least, give me a short outlook how we want to share this experience also with the external partners. As I mentioned it, if we jump to the next page, we are creating also the so-called industrial cloud ecosystem. And we want to create that because we know if we invite more partners, more industry partners and manufacturers, we will have more good ideas and open innovation. Because if I invite an equipment supplier of automotive industry to think about applications to improve processes, this will help everyone in this marketplace, and therefore we are asking for partners joining and thinking about good ideas to create an application. This will also help the scaling, because this will create a new standard, and if the standard is more often used, the scalability is better. And last but not least, if we have our suppliers integrated, if we have, so for the part suppliers and also for the equipment suppliers, the integration of our value chain will continue, will have a good progress, and it makes us even better and stronger working in the whole supply chain. And how this look like, I have brought you a picture here. That means we will have in the center this marketplace where we offer several microservices, several applications, and as a partner in the industrial cloud, every company can offer applications, but also buy applications and use them. The whole thing is then established on the common platform based on the AWS technology and the connectivity topics from Siemens, and the community itself will establish open innovation philosophy to really exchange ideas, to exchange applications, and to have a vivid communication across industries in manufacturing. So that's the core idea behind the industrial cloud, and to bring our digital production platform to the external industries. And if we jump to the last page, you can see that we have already started with that topic in the industrial cloud, and partners like ABB, Dürr, Grob, Vago, Celonis, also software providers in industry, Celonis, Navision, and also system integrators like MHP and Bearing Point are already partners in the industrial cloud, and we are proud to have them on board, and we will definitely develop our system further. And yeah, if you are interested, please let me know, and I'm happy to hear questions or comments from your side. Thanks a lot, and have a good discussion.